Hello, welcome back. Donnie Swaggart had long been seen as a man of God, carrying the name, influence, and authority that came with being part of one of the most well-known ministries in the country. Each Sunday, his sermons rang through the church, with passion, speaking about righteousness, repentance, and salvation. People trusted him, believing his words came from a genuine place, but away from the pulpit. Donnie was living a life that didn't match the image he presented. His journey away from the path didn't start with a dramatic scandal. It began quietly, late-night texts to people outside the ministry, private meetings not on the official schedule, unexplained trips framed as personal retreats. These small choices slowly built a separate life. In public, he still preached with power, but those who knew him began to sense a shift. His connection to his message felt weaker, his eyes wandered more, and his marriage began to show signs of strain. Debbie, his wife, had always been by his side, presenting grace and dignity, but now she was often seen alone at events. Her smile seemed forced, her eyes carried an unspoken heaviness, while the congregation admired him. Donnie was secretly finding comfort far from home, in hotel rooms and in the company of someone who saw him not as a preacher but simply as a man escaping expectations. This woman wasn't from the church, she was from Texas. Rumored to be a single mother in her early 40s, she began appearing at midweek services, sitting quietly near the front. Staff noticed the way Donnie's eyes found her during sermons, and how they were sometimes seen leaving in the same direction after services. What started as conversations about faith turned into private lunches far from town, secret trips, and eventually an emotional bond that blurred into something more. Donnie convinced himself it was just human weakness, a temporary escape. But deep down he knew he had crossed a line. Debbie began noticing more his constant phone use, locked devices, hollow hugs, and frequent unexplained travel. One evening, she found a hotel receipt in his jacket for a place far from any church conference. When she quietly handed it to him, his silence said everything. She didn't explode with anger. She withdrew into herself, protecting the family image while carrying the heartbreak privately. Her presence in church became quieter, her once bright demeanor replaced with a tired sadness that even friends noticed. Word of Donnie's behavior began reaching his mother, Frances, the matriarch of the family who had weathered many storms. She had heard whispers from within the ministry, and though she initially hoped they were rumors, a mother's intuition told her otherwise. One evening, she invited him to dinner and directly asked for the truth. Donnie didn't deny it. He admitted to losing his way, to the affair, and to the guilt eating at him. Frances told him plainly that he couldn't preach righteousness while living in sin, urging him to make it right, even if it cost him everything. But the rumors had already started spreading online, and among church members, pressure mounted for Donnie to respond. The ministry's media team crafted a statement, and during a Sunday service, he addressed the congregation. Thousands watched as he admitted vaguely to making mistakes and falling short, asking for prayers without directly naming the affair. Some felt it was a step toward repentance. Others saw it as a carefully managed performance meant to protect the brand. The mixed reaction did little to quiet the growing tension inside the ministry. Behind the scenes, leadership was divided. Some wanted to extend grace and keep Donnie in leadership. Others felt betrayed and demanded accountability. Financial support began to waver, and meetings grew tense. Eventually, in a quiet decision, it was agreed that Donnie would step away from daily leadership without a formal resignation. Publicly, it was framed as taking time to rest and heal, but within the ministry, it was clear he had been removed from influence. Debbie stayed silent, avoiding public statements. Her absence from her usual place at the front of the church was noticed by everyone. Donnie's name was quietly removed from event flyers, and his image disappeared from certain parts of the ministry's website. His fall wasn't loud or dramatic, it was slow, deliberate, and impossible to ignore. He began living away from the spotlight, occasionally seen in quiet public spaces. No longer the voice that once drew thousands. For some, his story is a reminder that redemption is possible, that failure doesn't have to be the end. But for now, Donnie Swaggart's journey stands as a sobering example of how even the most respected names can crumble under the weight of secrecy, temptation, and pride. Behind every celebrated leader is a human being, flawed, vulnerable, and capable of falling like anyone else.